Hey guys, welcome to the Lo-Fi Evenings with your host Jones. And first and foremost, before we start the podcast with our amazing guests, two guests out here today. No, two guests, sorry, not four. Anyway, so we have two guests in our midst. But before we get to them, I'd like to say thank you to all the subscribers for helping us reaching 10K. And it's a really amazing thing. And I want to say thank you so much, despite the fact that we were quite inconsistent with our uploading. And, we had made a lot of errors here and there. I want to say thank you to all of you, especially the viewers, the people who like and comment, and even our Instagram. Seriously, you guys really contribute a lot to this podcast. And even though we're trying our best, yet you always support us behind the scenes. So thank you so much. Today, we have a very, very special guest. And these guests, I think you must have seen them. You must have not seen them. And if you like cycling, these are one of the guests that will really, really inspire you to cycle for fitness and also for experience life in a different perspective. Okay, so today to my right we have none other than Jan from ProCycling Shillong. I hope you guys, when you walk from Edmonds, you'll definitely see a big store with all cycles. It's his store, the man with the plan. And now, the man, the myth, the legend. Should I say that or not? Okay, anyway. Should I say that or not? Okay, a little too much. The legend, let's just say, that I think you guys must have heard, or if you're in the cycling sport, you must have heard about him. It's none other than Caldwell, who is here with his cap, who looks very handsome indeed. I'm not gay, by the way. Just saying. But seriously, with all due respect, we've been having this conversation back and forth, but finally, thanks to Jan for making this happen, and we'll be able to get to know more about you in a different perspective as well, about your life and how did cycling help you in your day-to-day life, right? So anyway, how do you start this? I was wondering, how do you start this? How do we get this initiation, right? So I think, Caldwell, it's better that just talk a bit about how you got into cycling. How was it? Was it an instant moment where you're able to, say cycling is my thing, or is it took you time to be able to realize your goals or your dream or whatever it may be?
It's really good to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I started cycling when I was a kid, a long time ago. I was, maybe 7-8 years old when my grandfather, I grew up in Kathmandu. So, we would come home for the holidays. My parents and my siblings and I would come home for holidays, and, your uncle, your aunt would say, hey, or something like that. No, my grandfather kind of added some money to that and said, you should buy yourself a bicycle. And so I remember when I got back home to Kathmandu, we bought our first bicycle. It was a BMX.
Mm-hmm. But how much did you get it for back in the day?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea how much.
Which year was this?
I think it would be somewhere in the late 80s.
Oh, BMX though.
Yeah.
Good flex though, I would say.
I remember it was a brown colored bicycle. Avon was the brand. Most likely steel built.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was all that. And I used to ride it around the city. Back in those days, traffic wasn't like it is today. And, it became my mode of discovering the city. And as I growing up in Kathmandu, I kind of started riding all over the city. And if there was a road that I had never been down, that's the one I take, and I learned the city that way. That relationship with the bicycle was something that I had for a very long time. I remember a few years later, I stripped it down, repainted it myself, made it red. And then I don't know if people can see, but over here, this chrome color. But I used to think it was silver,
Yeah.
So I wanted to paint my bicycle that color. And then I went and I bought silver paint, and then when I came back, it wasn't this. But anyway, that was how I got into bicycling.
Okay. So it's kind of like it's kind of what wasn't accidental, but you just enjoyed doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it was like as a kid, you have bicycle.
Yeah.
Great fun.
That is one thing that I feel that most of us, it happens like more or less. It's just like we enjoy the moment, and when it's like not by accident, but it's something that you enjoy and just make it like, okay, I gotta do this, man.
Did you cycle as a kid?
I did. I have a Hero, the first one, and sad to say, like the handlebars were wide, and it was very like childish and girly, but I don't care. I like the bike. We really enjoyed it. By we means our locality friends. Yeah, they all used it to the extent where I have to replace like the rims of the tire, if that makes sense. Man, and those times they were like nothing, man. Like there were no gears, nothing. It's just like pure enjoyment. So yeah, that's one thing. How did like Jan? But I think this would be your chance as well. Like how did you start like the whole? Oh, but we did have a podcast with you anyway. But how did you get into cycling and all this adventure sports?
Yeah, so my first cycle was not really my first cycle. It was my sister's cycle. And as siblings, it was always the back and forth between the siblings. Like, I said, I'm not gonna let you ride this, So when they were not there, I would just like, steal it in a way and ride it. But what's the highlight point for me was I wanted to ride the bicycle so bad, and then never getting a chance to one day just like sneaking it out. And on the first try, on the first pedal, I just balanced without any training wheels, without anything. And I just rolled down. And then I just remember hitting the brakes and just falling down. So, I mean, without anyone holding, because I was doing it when nobody was home.
Yeah.
And then from there, it picked up. Back in the day, what sparked me into like what really captured my attention was the X Games. 2007, 2008 ESPN.
Yep.
Vert, we had Mega Rams, we had Park. It was just like, wow, like you can do that. So I started my own like 2 bricks and a plank, just doing stuff, Yeah. And I just got not stuck with that. Like I stuck with that, like and started riding till now. Yeah.
Damn, that was. We had a podcast long time ago, but he was the first guest, by the way, okay, for your information. And that was quite interesting. I didn't know that, what she was like,
Yeah, I did not mention that, I think.
Yeah, was subtle. Okay, anyway, good.
Save some for
now.
For the next one.
Stay tuned, guys. Anyway, but coming back to, I guess you guys share more or less of a similarity when it comes to adventure and various others, right? And I want to ask Caldwell is that, when you were saying that your dad I think helped you and all that. Grandfather, right? My apologies. Grandfather. So was he a cyclist as well, or was he into adventure and various others? Or
I have no idea. Like my grandfather wasn't. Well, I don't know. I know he did not have a bicycle.
Yeah.
Like back in those days, like I didn't grow up in Shillong, so I didn't really see a bicycle in Shillong. Maybe there were a few people who had bicycles, but like I doubt it was that common. Maybe I'm wrong. But like growing up in Kathmandu, where it's a bigger city, it's a flatter city, a lot of people riding bicycles. So like I grew up, my dad used to drop us to school by bicycle, right? He didn't have a bike or a car. We had a bicycle. He had the big Doodwala bicycle, right? And he had a seat on the front crossbar, and then my older brother would sit in the back carrier, and I would sit in the front crossbar, and he would drop us in 2 different schools. So we went growing up, we went to school by bicycle. And then like my dad was quite like his work took him to many places. So he would take us with him, and that kind of, I think, gave us this kind of spirit of adventure.
Yeah. How was like you were talking about a little bit of Kathmandu, right? So was it, because I've heard some not rumors, it's facts that they say that the fitness level of these guys are totally like out of this world, and they can climb mountains and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's to do with the elevation that they're staying in.
I don't think Kathmandu.
Not Kathmandu.
Kathmandu is pretty much similar elevation as Shillong, about 1,500 meters or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think maybe who you're referring to are like the Sherpas.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the people who live at 4,000 meters have a different kind of blood.
Yeah.
Different hemoglobin composition in their blood.
Man, that's quite interesting because the reason is we always hear like I don't know, just me being stupid here, but that's why I heard that Kathmandu guys are like, they're very fit. But the Sherpas,
Yeah, I mean, if you're at a high altitude, your lung capacity is by default like you breathe in more than the usual
that's also true.
sea level or all those.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have the advantage. in every sense.
Exactly. So you must have the advantage, or do you have the advantage or not? When it comes to
I
that.
grew up in the same elevation as Shillong, so I'd say I'm at par with folks here.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about more of the cycling perspective of your of your life and various others. Like when you go on these cycling trips of yours, when you actually like decided to go to a particular place, like can you tell me, was it like nerve-wracking for you, or were you nervous to go to that particular place, or didn't you think beforehand like like what to do, and all these various variables that are there, what could happen to you, what might not happen to you also, right? So can you like explain a bit of how like your first trip was?
My first long distance ride, solo ride, was just a few years ago. I rode from Kanyakumari to Nepal. That kind of I followed the western coast of India. In terms of like preparing for the trip, I think in my mind it was more about fitness. But I mean, in general I'm fit. I wouldn't say I'm like super fit, but I'm fit enough. I think for me the biggest question about cycling adventure is having the kind of curiosity to be able to make adjustments, adapt, ask questions, eat food, be able to interact with people. Like it's a very normal kind of thing. I think like there's nothing extraordinary that you need to have. It's just I think the spirit of. For me, the question was more about the journey, right? It's about the journey rather than the bicycling. The bicycle was the mode, right? I could have been walking. Many people do it on motorbikes and all of that. And I think the mode changes kind of the speed of your experience. But I think the posture in which you embrace adventure is kind of like, for me, the most important part of it. The logistics will fall into place. They're not. You don't have to figure everything out.
But what was the first initial spark? What made you think I'm going to cycle? From like you just wake up one day and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to cycle like the West Coast.
Like obviously the idea comes when you wake up one day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been wanting to see other parts of India that I haven't seen, and the idea of like traveling by train is, I think there's a whole different kind of. It will be a completely different experience. I think traveling across India by local bus would actually be much more exciting. Don't take the long distance night buses, but take the the short distance buses and like stay in different places. I think that would be a much interesting experience. But I think cycling, because I wanted to be completely independent, like not dependent on a schedule of a bus, not have to be in a town that I had to stop there because there was a bus that went only till there. So I wanted to kind of be independent in that sense, like the independence of having your own vehicle, but also at the same time being able to do it human powered.
Yeah, I'm pretty, because I've done short trips but multi-day trips. For me, packing my stuff is always the biggest issue, because I always tend to overpack. I'm like, I have my tent, I have my sleeping bag, I have my stove. And then when I reach, after every trip, I'm like, I didn't need this. Why did I carry it? So do you sort of have to deal with that? Or are you a good packer in that sense? Like, do you carry only what you need, or do you sometimes
I think life experience has kind of taught me how to pack. And I think from other parts of my life, more than cycling, because I've traveled a bit, I've done a lot of backpacking and all of that, so I've learned how to pack the things I need. So in bicycling, the first time I went, I did overpack. There were things that I didn't even touch in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
2 months,
Yeah.
but then in another journey that I did, I knew that I needed different kinds of things. So what I did was I carried some of the things that I needed. And then when I knew that I didn't need that anymore, I actually posted it back home and had
Yeah.
my brother post me some things that I needed at a different season, like the weather got colder, so I didn't have to carry all that stuff at the same time. So it just made those other kinds of adjustments. But it's pretty minimal because, when you're bicycling every day, you'll just wear the same dirty shorts, you wear the same shirt, like.
Does that sound normal to you? Because we're just looking at it
I was like, yeah, same shorts, no. No, but
You wash them every day.
yeah, yeah. That's one thing. Like, okay, let me ask you, Ian. Like, what are you seeing when you see overpacking? What did you overpack? Whether like sneakers or something?
No. Food, right? Because you're like, okay, I might not find shops. I might not find shops. I overpack. Yeah, I'm very. I get very paranoid about like medically. I carry a lot of medicines as well.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, anything can happen, and then I realized, I carried this, Again, other things, what else? Like clothing, sometimes I do. And then, because I think it's different because if you're doing like a trip in India, across India and stuff like that, you are always certain to find a shop or a hotel or any of that sort, right? For me, sometimes I end up in these routes where it's like even here, it's a little difficult sometimes, especially if it's a Sunday, you don't get shops.
Yeah.
You can't find food.
So true.
You can't even find drinking water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just those things in mind. But I've not done much, but I've definitely reduced a bit. I think I'll just need to do it more.
Well, I mean, one thing to comment about that is cycling across India, it becomes bothersome that there isn't a place where you don't see somebody.
Yeah, like privacy.
Like everywhere you go, like, just 5 kilometers. Every 5 kilometers, there's a village.
That's true.
Yeah.
With our population crisis going on, man, definitely
I mean, if you follow the roads, but if you ride through a national park, then you won't find it.
Would you wake up one day and be like, I'm going to walk to Manipur today, or I'm going to walk to Nagaland?
I'm a lazy ass man. but it did, because before I started my fitness journey, but I do jog before. I jog a lot. And so it's because of my dad, my brother, and various others. They are the ones who inspired me to start going for jogging and start taking health more seriously. And plus, during those times, it's like I was a very scrawny dude. So it's like, okay. And plus, I have a lot of immunity problems. So like you said, it just happens, man. It's like, I think now, we just spoke earlier about fitness as well, right? I think, man, fitness social media has grown exponentially. Everyone's to fitness. I mean, your shop, you have met like so many sportsmen, right? And it's not just that. So I think in some way or the other, I feel that most people here are mostly very, very fit. If you're viewing this right now, I think most of you also are very, very fit. But the thing is, coming back to that overpacking thing, it reminds me of like all Indian moms. They'll be like, you gotta go there. You carry a lot of medicines. Paracetamol, you have to carry. No, Evomin, you have to carry. Like, all these extra nitty gritty, they'll extra food.
Yeah.
I think it just goes to your mind.
Well, one of the most, I think, in any kind of adventure, be it cycling, long distance cycling or trekking or whatever, like the most important aspect as you mature in it is learning how to manage risk. It's a question of risk management, right? So what medicine you carry, what kind of clothing you carry, how much food you carry, how much water, knowing your route, knowing where all those kinds of the things that you need to be aware of so that you can minimize anything going wrong. Right? And it's not that you need to know everything, but you need to minimize the things that you can control.
Yeah.
Right? So like, you need to have a first aid kit. You need to have something if your stomach goes bad. You don't want to be dehydrated because you're throwing up or something like that. So those kinds of things you have to be very aware. And then obviously the climate, so the kinds of clothing you want. So like cycling across India, the risk management, the big question is traffic. Like how do you ride so that you keep yourself safe? Because traffic in India is unpredictable. Some guys talking on their phone, watching YouTube while driving, all of that, and like anytime they can just sideswipe you.
Yep.
So like that's, I think, from anything about riding in India, especially if you're riding the roads, is traffic. And so then, like, what kind of roads do you choose? Like, how do you occupy space on the road, right? Like, even for people who ride bicycles in Shillong, that's a question. If you're a daily commuter in Shillong, that's a question you need to ask. How do I ride safely on Shillong Street? I mean, our roads are so
narrow,
small and full of cars. So how do you keep yourself safe?
Yeah. What about you? How did you do your research on these roads and various others? You must have like, there was like Google Maps that I don't.
Google.
There was there.
Yeah,
That was like a couple of years.
Yeah,
This was
okay. A few years ago, right?
Also, do you plan the whole route and you do it, or do you go halfway and be like, no, I can do this also? So you sort of like just go with it, or do you have
instinct
end to end and you're like fixated and you're like, I'm gonna go from here to here, or do you like be like, oh no, I think I can go further?
Gut
Or
feeling.
like the everyday thing?
Not the everyday. Like supposing you say I'm gonna do Kanyakumari to Shillong, right? And then suddenly you say I want to go to Nepal. Is that like something that's not been planned and you just do it, or do you actually have?
I think for like that big of like I'm more fixed, right? Like I want to ride from Ladakh to Shillong, right? So that's my goal. But like maybe I might take a detour. I might go somewhere else along the way. But like I'm finally coming back home, or this is where I want to finally reach. I think those don't really change. But every day, like maybe I'll ride a little more extra or less, or I see something interesting and then I take a detour. Kind of being flexible that way.
I think for the viewers, they might get confused of what we're talking about. I think it's very important that you tell them these 2 big cycling trips that you've done, from where to where, and how many days it took you, so that we can put into perspective. Like
So the first trip I did was this was early 22. February. It was February 22. Took me 2 months. I rode from Kanyakumari up the India's west coast up till Surat, and then cut across India and went into Pokhara, Nepal. And then I ended the trip doing what is called the Annapurna circuit, which is a trekking trail around the Annapurna Massif in Nepal. So that's a high altitude ride. So that was a little over 5,000 kilometers.
On a bicycle.
For
your information, yes.
Does cycling at that elevation sort of... But you do, when you climb up gradually, you acclimatize the right way, I guess. But do you still feel the intensity of the height factor, basically, when you're cycling at that altitude? Because we're talking about 12,000 meters. I don't understand. So it's 12,000 feet, 13,000, more than that.
No, the highest point of the Annapurna circuit is about 5,400 meters, which is about,
I think that'll be
16,000 feet.
So how did you adapt to the whole thing, or were you
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Do you feel more tired? I think you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. Your breathing is more labored. Your body needs more oxygen. But if you're going to ride in high altitude, like the other trip I took was Ladakh, right? I rode from Ladakh back to Shillong, but I had spent a couple of months living in Leh. And then while I was living in Leh, I cycled all the way to different parts of Han Leh and other parts. I did Manali to Leh and all of that. And those are all over 5,000 meter rides as well. And your body
acclimatizes.
Especially if you're walking or cycling, because at the rate at which you're gaining elevation, your body adapts much slower and steadily, rather than a motorcycle who goes from 2,000 meters to 5,000 meters in 3 hours, right? But for us, it's taking 2 days, and we are exerting a lot of energy in doing that. So, we're really using our body to adapt as well. So I think the adaptation.
Yeah, you do acclimatize
Yeah.
well. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty stable that way. Yeah, because I think do you at a certain point during these trips do you sort of question yourself that man this is do you doubt yourself? Like,
So much.
yeah, you do.
I mean, then the physical.
Yeah,
Then the physical experience of riding long distance is the mental questioning, and the mental challenge of keeping
why am I
myself
doing
going.
this?
Like so many times, I was like, I'm so tired today, and I had a bad day. So hot. There were some days that were terribly hot. And I just like I could just catch a train.
yeah, go back. Like obviously you do things like that.
Yeah. On one of the trips, I had gone sick. The last second trip that I did from Leh to Shillong, I got sick. I had fever and everything, and I was stuck in Lucknow.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I was in a big city, so I ended up just staying in Lucknow for a week. But while I was there, I was like, should I just, my body feels tired, and it doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
And should I just, it's easy. I can just buy a train ticket, pack my bicycle in a box, and
come back.
come back home.
Yeah.
So at that time, what do you tell yourself? Are you like, no, you've come too far to be giving up, or what sort of,
I don't think for me the question. I think part of it is that like I've come so far. Like there's this personal challenge of being able to complete a goal that you've set for yourself. I think that's a really big motivating factor. But also is like I know that a part of it is like I know I'm going to regret it.
I mean,
yeah.
and it's not a small trip where you can be like, I'll redo this next time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think that's there. For me, if I think of me as doing that and motivating myself, knowing my mental game, I would just do it with the no option backup of like even having no money to come back by a train. So you have to do it. I'll have to be at that level sort of, because if I have if it's financially viable for me, I will I don't have that much patience to be sitting and be like, I think I should do this. I should just continue with this. I like right away book a ticket and be like, chuck this. I think I'll have to. I think one thing that you have to be super careful here is because asking yourself a question whether I should quit a journey at the middle is a risk question.
The risk to reward ratio,
It is like obviously there's a part of it you wanting to complete your goal, right? That's there, right? That's motivation. But like during my trip, while I was staying in Ladakh, I wanted to go up to Umlingla, right? The highest road in the world and all that. So I cycled all the way to the bottom of Umlingla, and I have this certain condition that some kind of vertigo experience that I experienced at that moment. And then the next day, I knew I had that, and I decided I was going to still go. And it was a huge climb. I had some like 3,000 meter climb up to this pass and then had to descend that way. And it took me forever to get to the top. I was so tired that day. And I just kept asking myself, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to go to Umlingla when I get to the top of this mountain pass, because this is the biggest challenge. So I just kept challenging myself to get, and I couldn't cycle anymore. I was just like pushing my bike up this hill. And when I got to the top, I ate something and I just slept on the road for like 2 hours. Just like, because there's so less traffic, I just laid on this tarmac. It was nice and warm. And I just laid there. And then I just decided, no, like I'm not in good shape and I have to kind of take a step back. Yeah. I need to take a safety question. It's a question of safety, and I need to come back. So then I just returned. And I did not get to Umlingla. And part of me now looking back at it is like,
wasn't it really
not a big deal, but at that moment I was just like, how can I tell myself I couldn't make it to Umlingla? There was that.
There's that ego
that
versus
voice, that you're kind of like battling. But the question is, I think so many stories of people who climb big mountains, on Everest, for example, right? So many of the deaths on Everest are people who decide that they don't want to turn back because they've spent 40 lakhs, 60 lakhs to climb Mount Everest. And then they're like 200 meters from the summit and they just can't walk anymore and they can't breathe anymore. And the Sherpa guide tells them, time to go back. And they say, no.
Yeah.
And then they die, right? And those are those risk questions that you have to be able to kind of decide, when is it time to turn around? When is it that I can still continue?
Kind of like that, like you're in a dilemma of like, I'm almost there, but I have to think of what to do. Like we were talking about earlier about risk, right? And I think you really need to step back. Like what you said earlier is that, I think we really need to, like, especially in your kind of field of, riding a cycle and reaching to that point where you're almost there, but you feel like you're not almost there as well. And also the risk is quite huge. So I think for both of you guys, like, you must have been to such situations, and just now you explained, but I want to ask Jan, like, have you ever been in that situation where you be like, nah, I can do it, but like you need to put your pride aside and be like, nah, it's like, I gotta take a like step back here again.
So I've not done much long distance cycling, but for me in the cycling world, it's I do a lot of BMX, and 3 to 4 years ago when we were filming for a BMX part, we so there's it's in the streets and you see an obstacle and you want to do it, right? I remember taking a hard slam on my ribs on one of a rail, trying to grind it, and then and my BMX friends are like, they're the type to be like, hey, get up, man, just try it again, you almost had it. And I try again, I fall. So the whole day I just fall. 20 shots, I think. And the next day, I slept over it. I couldn't sleep. It was like that exam I had where I'm like not prepared. I'm like really worried. I haven't had that in a long time because I stopped college and all that a long time ago. That was the only night where I couldn't sleep and I was thinking and I had nightmares about that because the videographer was like, hey, we need to get that tomorrow. Like I'm ready with my cameras and all that. It's like all that pressure. And I'm like, yeah. So that was the only time where I'm like, I reached there and I just didn't feel it and I chickened out. I was like, because that could have been like it's a make or break thing because and then when you sleep over it, you're thinking like, oh, what if I fall on my rib? What if and those rails are as such, and I'm thinking like, what if I lock my feet in and I fall and then my femur is just going to go, and all these things. So you get a lot more time to think. Whereas if you're just doing it, just like, oh, almost had it, and then you do it again, almost had it, come on. And then you like fall, take a bad slam, and you sit, you're like, I'll take a break, but you'll still do it. But once you have time, like an overnight thing to think about it, that was the only time. But yeah, I've not really had things like where I'm cycling and because I've not really done so much long distance, but it's definitely good because it's a make or break situation in a lot of times. A make or break situation. It can be a lifelong injury to Everest people facing death, And I think we need to be wise enough to also understand the place we're in terms of our how medically like the medical assistance that we have in terms of medical treatment and all that. We're not in the place where you can get surgery and recover and all that. It's still very risky. Yeah. Were you able to do that stunt though? No, I'm still bummed out. Yeah.
I think it's better to go study that once, like look, meditate. Probably might be able to.
I don't know. Maybe.
Were you driving a car one day and you just turn to the other side? Like you see that drill?
You just look at it like. It's still scary.
Yeah.
I've had many instances with like even mountain bike jumps and all that. But then if you do conquer it, then that feeling is just like
out of this world.
I think that's the question of risk assessment, right?
Yeah.
Because risk management is about knowing how to assess what's the risk and having level-headedness to make the right decision about it, right? And so like you can't make a decision about risk when you are at risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you should have already thought about. If this is my sick condition, this is what I have to do.
Mhm.
Like, like you might be in like the house might be on fire. You're not deciding what is risk at that moment, right? You're executing a plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so like when it comes so like unknowing your like in your case, right? Knowing what your capacity
Mhm.
is an important
It's an
aspect.
important aspect because sometimes it's luck.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're just waiting for that luck also, right? But there's a certain point where it's like, no man, luck is not on your side. Like, not today. And you're still like, nah. And it's always like with my BMX friends, shout out to Will, Ginaldo, always like, hey, last three. And you're doing 3 times and you don't land. It's like, okay, 5 more. And you still go and you still don't do it. And you're like, I've had enough. It's like, hey man, don't quit. Just do. It's good in a way, but it's, again, you analyze the risk and you wait for luck. When it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. And then you have your excuses. Hey, it's getting dark. The light's not there. Yeah, let's wrap it up.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Tell yourself what you need to tell yourself.
Yeah,
It's also an important.
yeah.
It's an important aspect of your internal dialogue.
Yeah.
But isn't life a huge risk anyway? It's like you have to do these things to make it better, right? If you don't have risk, it's kind of like,
Mhm.
okay. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are doing the UPSC exams, and even if it's not really into adventure, they are taking a huge risk.
Yeah.
I mean, risk is risk at the end of the day. How's your like out of 100%, the 2% of people become UPSC officers and civil servants, and that's something that's very, very hard. But that's what makes life,
Interesting.
beautiful and interesting, right?
Yeah.
But then, I thought of asking you because we were talking about risk, right? And in your case, you were in that moment, but in every sport, on every thing that we do, whether it's fitness, whether it's life or whatever it may be, we always have that old uncle in the corner of your room where we always go for advice, right? So do you have anyone like that, like teach you the way, or maybe he knows a bit of here and there so that you can just get more of that wisdom? Because that rationality of saying risk and various others doesn't come naturally to most people, right? It maybe someone have conveyed to you that, oh, I've gone through this journey and I've reached here, and be like, with this you should think of this and that, kind of like a guiding light kind of thing, during those time of crisis and during those time of dilemma, right? So do you have anyone who guided you, or maybe who gave you like tips and tricks here and there and some wisdom for you to take by when you go to these rides?
Like I have some friends who are also in sport and all of that, and so who I've learned a lot from in terms of understanding risk. And when I have to make a decision like that, I maybe will text them and all of that. But then like it's more, I think it's not a question of not knowing. It's a question of having somebody you can bounce ideas. Usually you have most of the answers yourself, right? And you're just like, does it make sense? My thought
You
process.
just need a second opinion.
Yeah, just a kind of a separate.
I'm his go-to mechanic though.
Yeah.
Yes, and whenever there's mechanical thing, Jan is my
Check
go-to
this
mechanic.
guy's podcast. He'll tell you everything, how he started out. So it was just
it's
amazing the
like,
way he
"Hey,
started
listen,
out,
we got
man.
stuck here,
Seriously.
can't take out the quick release. Like, guiding him through videos.
All right, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Didn't you read a book relating to how to make cycles?
Yeah, there is a book.
There was a
yeah.
book, right? You were telling. I still remember that podcast that he was like, I read a book and I was
Yeah.
able to repair stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, you don't learn it firsthand. It's all experience though.
yeah.
But yeah, and it's continuous learning. I'm still nowhere now. And things just keep upgrading that you can't keep up with things, That way I feel pretty old because I have a lot of kids come to me nowadays and ask me about things, and I get annoyed because I don't know. Maybe I didn't read that much. What was that? And they're like, yeah, you haven't heard about this? I'm like, nah, maybe I'm out of touch, I do read things, but the tech nowadays is so you do read about it, and unless you get hands-on experience, you can't really comprehend and understand a lot of things. But yeah, learning experience. I think similarly for you on the road, it's a lot of learning as well.
Yeah.
Keeping all the risk factors aside, I wanted to ask you what are the little things or the good things that keep you going when you're doing these trips?
For me, it's the people that I meet. Like, these journeys that I've taken were not not because I wanted to go on a cycle ride. It was because I wanted to see the country. That was my goal, right?
Yeah.
I chose to do it on a bicycle, but I wanted to see the country.
Yeah.
A little personal challenge, but I've never been to all these places.
Bucket list as well, I guess.
Yeah,
I can see that, right?
Yeah. And so, I think the kind of experiences that I had of meeting people, mostly experiencing people's kindness is the thing that really is the most motivating thing. When you're having a hard time and all of a sudden somebody gives you 3 bananas. I remember climbing this hill in Kerala, and I was so exhausted that day. It was super steep, the thing. And this person just saw me pushing the cycle up, and she's like, wait. And she goes and gets me a glass of water and 3 bananas. And just that kind of thing. I've gotten so many free meals on my journey. So many free meals.
Yeah.
Places to stay, free meals.
Yeah.
True. And that's all the thing that really kind of is the most beautiful is meeting strangers who society tells us we should be afraid of. But you experience hospitality, kindness
to the next level.
Yeah. And I think that's the most life-giving thing.
Yeah. I think that's that's a unique point of bicycling, because you're not seen as a threat on a bicycle.
Yeah.
People will never see you as a threat because how fast would you run or pedal, right?
Right.
How vulnerable can it be also?
Why is this guy cycling?
Yeah.
It's not like, wait, what is he doing here? That man looks suspicious of any sort. But if they see you on a bicycle and bags and all that, what harm could he do, right?
Yeah.
Even if he snatches my stuff, how fast would he go, right? So I think going as a cyclist just adds that sort of, it's not an assurance, but people see you differently. People see you. It's also still pretty rare for people to see a cyclist come and do this. And I've had my recent trip as well. We went, and then I remember camping at this village where there were no shops, and went to one of the houses there, and we said, is there a shop here? We wanted to buy some things. And the lady says, no, the nearest shop is that way, which we had just come from, about 10 kilometers. So it was pretty far, and we were like, okay. She said, what do you need? She said, we just need veggies, some veggies, And so she said, okay. And then he said, if you don't mind, just give us some water. So he said, yeah, water. And then she goes in, and with the water bottle, she comes in with tomatoes and veggies and all that. And we're like, how much? She's like, no, just take it. You need this. And how much do we pay? It's like, no, please don't. And they were so awesome. They were like, yeah, just go. There's a nice spot there around the corner, camp there. Let us know if you need anything. You can use our boats to cross the river, because it was across a river, right? There was a village here, and we were camping on the other side. They're like, if you're too tired to go around, come over the bridge. You could, that's my boat there. You can use my boat. And it was, pretty cool. And they were curious. They're like, do you have a YouTube channel? And I'm like, nah, I don't have one, sadly.
It's in the process.
They're like, but then they're like, but do you get paid to do this? No, you don't. Okay, well, this is cool. Well, if you need anything, we're here. So I think you'll agree to that if you are traveling by bicycle, people don't see you.
I think what you mentioned, you're not perceived as a threat, is a really important thing, because there's a certain sense of when you're on a bicycle and when you experience the world on a bicycle, especially in a motorized world, you're always having to be careful.
Yeah.
Right? A pedestrian also, worse than a bicycle. Yeah. Is in a more vulnerable place than even a bicyclist. And so you're already in that totem pole. Obviously in other countries, usually driving is pedestrian first oriented driving. Right? Here it is the biggest vehicle first oriented. Yeah. And so you're always trying to be secure, be safe. And so I think just being in that state, and people also generally being aware of that, kind of don't see you as somebody who's coming as a threat. I mean, the question that I've gotten, most people are like surprised, right? And they say, is there a motor in your bicycle? You know, is there like you know, that's the question. It's like, why would you do something this ridiculous? And like,
it's ridiculous.
the thing is, and this is where like the question arises, is because all over India people ride bicycles, right? So what then makes it unique that somebody is riding another bicycle? Obviously he's carrying some bags and all of that. I look different, maybe my bicycle looks a little different, but people ride bicycles every day, you know. And so I think that's the big question of how mindsets shift in terms of experiencing somebody who's on a bicycle. I mean, I remember I posted on social media once where I met this one 20-year-old construction worker in Chandigarh who used to ride about 50, 60 kilometers to work every day. You know, and then he ended up riding with me, and it was that day, that morning, it was pretty flat road, so we were going pretty fast. And this guy was like so fast. And I was like pedaling as fast as I can.
Speak of the little things that motivate you to do these things. But apart from that, I don't think there is any such thing as a language barrier when
I mean, Hindi works, you know. Mostly. And then hand gestures and all of that.
I think how you present yourself as well. Like the moment you see you wave at them, stuff like that. That also adds on to the hospitality side of things, you know. Because if you're just like, and I've seen, I think if you were just, if you're not, just going straight up, like not talking to them, it adds a little bit of suspicion in that sense. Especially if you're like, say, if it's dusty, you're masked up and you're wearing shades and you're cycling and you're not even looking at anyone. That adds on again to like, hey, like that looks.
I mean, I think there's a difference. Like, you know, there's a race in India that is a cycling race that runs from Srinagar to Kanyakumari, right? And it's a road race, and people are trying to finish that like as fast as they can. Right? And somebody who's riding that race is not in the same. They're not holding the same perspective that I am, right? They are wearing their shades. They're mostly like so focused, right? And they most likely have a support vehicle or something like that, and then they're just like riding as many hours as they can per day to kind of finish this thing really fast. But I know as a traveling cyclist, it's not about the cycle, it's about the travel, right? And so I think that's changes your posture.
It does.
I think coming back to that point you were saying earlier about, you know, he was saying that you're going through a lot of villages and you with the tomatoes and various other things. I think coming from a perspective of living in Shillong, right, we've always had this conservative mindset. I don't know about others, but for me, it's like, hey, going there is very bad, you know. That kind of stereotypical place where every place is a danger, right? So from your experience, what is like that, you know, that, how shall we say this, but breaking the stereotype of saying that, you know, places are dangerous, you know. And I think that has been planted in us for such a long time where we're like, oh, going there? No, don't go there, man. You're gonna kill the man there. So do you have a story of some sort where it tries to, if not remedies the whole thing, but at least bring a sense of light to this concept? Because I think people who are watching this will definitely be bike enthusiasts or either cycling enthusiasts, and maybe they will have some relatives or some parent will be like, you know, don't go there, it's very bad, you know. But you have been quite a lot of experiences based on the stories that you have conveyed, right? So can you just elaborate, maybe based on your experience, how has this, you know, serve like the kindness of the people that have given you the 3 bananas and water? That's a great thing. But any other experience that have really contradicted you and you were like surprised that these things happened to you?
I mean, I think the most important is how you hold yourself, right? I think that's what we just mentioned, right? That sense of vulnerability, that sense of openness, curiosity is really, really important. And I think how we present ourselves kind of sets the tone on our experience, right? So like what my family members and all that, like, just take the train, skip UP and Bihar. Right? This is what they've told me. Yeah?
But they're not wrong in some way. There have been too many crimes that's been happening also.
I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, exactly.
It can't be
It can be just
picky
centralized or
about
anything.
certain places, I'd say, but
Yeah,
I mean, think about our current situation
Yes,
right now.
yeah.
exactly.
Remember when the Sonam case happened?
or like everyday news you watch.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's like thieves and
It's amplified. It's amplified.
yeah.
I mean, like the people in other parts of India during the Sonam case were most likely starting to build some kind of impression that Meghalaya is
so
unsafe.
Yes.
And that's the same kind of like stories we've heard from UP.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, like 99% of the people you meet in UP are living their normal lives,
Yeah.
going here, going there. Yeah, there'll be some bad person somewhere. Here also you'll find that. You
That's
know? And so like, I think number one, we're stereotyping in a very dangerous way. Right? And so I think that's what we need to kind of get rid from our own kind of perception. And then I think the question of like curiosity of being, asking people questions, you don't know where to go, ask people. I remember one day that I was riding to Madhya Pradesh, and I remember in my childhood, you always hear these stories of dacoits in Madhya Pradesh. And I was going through this one section and I was wanting to be careful. So I was trying to scan the local newspapers, seeing if there were stories of recent robberies and this and that. So I would know like which area to kind of avoid and all that. I didn't find any. That morning I go and I pull up to this place and buy some tea and some breakfast. And then a group of teachers who were going to school kind of had a conversation with me, ended up buying my breakfast with me. And then they just gave me casual advice saying, try not to stop everywhere. But they didn't tell me anything else. But that day was so hot. It was over 40 degrees and I was like so tired, and I would just try to find the shade of a tree, take some rest and all that. I would stop in nearly every village and buy some Coca-Cola or something like that, just sugar to get myself through, And then at the end of that day, I climb out of this valley. There's a police checkpost. So I decide I'll go and say hello to the police. I stop there and I like drink some water and have some snacks, and I just chat with the cops. And they said, the other cops didn't stop you? I said, no, I saw them, but they didn't stop me. And he said, you've just come through the most dangerous part of India. It's like, I have no idea, Nothing happened. I had a very normal day. Like I didn't have any kind of unique experience. In the morning I started with people just telling me to keep going, and that, because that was UP, that was MP, and after that I was going to go into UP, and everybody talks about UP as being, more, just the stereotypes are just so negative. Yeah. And I remember when I was going through UP, I had stopped to take a break, and there was this guy who was walking with a big bag, or I don't know, he was carrying something, and then he just was like, where are you coming from and all that, and then we just kind of got into a conversation. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Shillong. He said, oh, Shillong. I used to work in Shillong. He was like, he worked some day wage laborer work in Shillong. And he insisted that I stay with him. And I stayed with in his house with his family for 2 days.
Wow.
He was so excited that after like 20 years, he met someone from Shillong.
Yeah. It was nostalgic for him.
Yeah. And I ended up staying in his house for 2 days. And that's the kind of, if I were just like super afraid of him,
even communicate with
exactly.
I could have just been very standoffish and he would have just gone on.
And part of I don't know, for me or for people in general, that they say, supposing even if you had been told about this place being unsafe, do you rely, because a lot of people will be like, I trust my gut on this. I think a lot of people do that. Do you do that? Do you sort of have this sort of, I won't say a sixth sense, but like your gut feeling that all the time you have this gut feeling something's wrong, you listen to yourself and it does not pay off, it does exactly like happen as how you would have perceived it and stuff like that? Or, it's just...
I think gut is there. I think you get a feeling about a place anywhere you go. You get a feeling. But you can't get a feeling about the entire state. You can get a feeling about a street or something like that, I mean, and I've had experiences where this last trip that I did, I was just riding and two guys come out on a motorcycle next to me and then they're trying to chatting and I'm, responding and all that. And they're like, how much money are you carrying? Things, those type of questions, right? So there I'm a little bit more cautious.
Spidey sense start tingling, man.
Like there I'm like, I just don't really want to.
But then again,
I'll change the topic. I'll ask them about them, rather than answer their question or something like that.
That's
but then again, that's on a bicycle because they'll be like,
exactly, man.
This guy is on a bicycle, man. How much money would we have? I mean, he can't afford a motorbike. Like, I think
that's the logic.
Yeah, that's the logic. So that keeps you safe either way. It'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the most common comment that a cyclist usually gets is like, if you ask, you go to somebody and they'll say, oh, how much your bicycle costs? And you say 1 lakh and say, why didn't you buy a scooty?
Yeah.
That's often the response. So like the question of having a bicycle means, I mean, if they knew and they came to ProCycling, plug in there, ProCycling, get some good bicycles.
Go to ProCycling to get you a new cycle.
You have any trips figured out like in the next coming months, year? No.
No, not. I don't have. I'm really more interested in riding around here. Yeah.
Okay, with all these trips going on, like you have had a lot of data, and I just say like data, right? Maybe in your future trips, according to you, were saying that maybe if you have any future trips, would you like now maybe use this as to do more research on places that you'll be going instead of like in the past, if you just like, okay, I'll go with the flow, whatever it may be.
I mean, there is an amount of research that goes in, right? So like, for some weird logic, like I have cycled India's west coast. I have cycled India west to east. Now I haven't done India's east coast, and I don't know. Sunrise. Yeah, I'll do that. I haven't done that. There's no really other great reason. It's just I haven't done that.
But yeah, that's one thing. Because I've seen that, I don't know, this is just me, but I don't know if you guys do your research and all that stuff, but I think sometimes you just go with the flow, man. Whatever happens, it happens. And I think you learn from that a lot, I guess. And like what you said, you met that Kong and suddenly like she give you water and then she give you tomatoes and be like, okay, like there are a lot of good people out there still.
Yeah. So, and then the next day the kids come and I'm like putting them on the bike and just pushing them and like it's
so cute,
it's
man.
So nice. And they're having the time of their lives.
I mean, I think riding these long distance rides are fun and exciting. I mean, I think I'm more interested in the future, like us doing longer bicycling trips in the Northeast.
Yes.
Which are not road oriented, which are village to village, bike packing, multi-day, cross state lines, kind of a thing. I think those will be more exciting.
And start a YouTube channel.
That's going to be my next question for sure. Okay, for both of you, actually, seriously,
that's
man.
a question that nearly everybody who stops you asks. What's your YouTube
channel?
Because they'll expect. I think it's very common.
It's a now thing.
It's like, why are you doing this if you're not doing it for YouTube? People don't see. I think it's different for different people. For me, in a very simple way, I just want to get away from the city and the chaos in a way, like from work and all that. I just want to get to a place where there's no network and sort of just chill there. Although I do find it awkward to be documenting each and everything, but for some people, they do that and I think it pays off well and good, but do you see yourself on YouTube? I don't know.
I think the effort is too much for me.
I mean,
it is.
When you talk about the drive, exactly, like the drive for you to do that and the drive for me to do it, it's the different things that drive you. But I think in general, there's the social media aspect is so much into it nowadays that it's normal. It's just that people think that it's just that you are going outdoors, you're going chasing waterfalls and all that just to make a reel. or
Just to get that Instagram shot.
Yeah.
to get Instagram
Yeah.
shot and
Yeah.
views and comments,
Yeah.
likes. I think it's good. I'm not saying good. I sound old for.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding about that, but there's more to that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
more to that.
I mean, there's like coming back to a YouTube thing, right? I watch a guy named Trucker Tim, if you would have seen. He's a guy who's vlogging in UK. He drives a truck, and that's the only thing he does. Like, he drives a truck, picks up load, and drops it to another place.
Yeah.
And that's like the thing. But okay, like how much can YouTube or how much can your GoPro can take in that moment when you're there
Yeah,
yourself, right? I think it doesn't capture that, right? Have you had those experiences where you be like, nah, like video doesn't like say like 100% or 120% of what it is.
I don't have patience to edit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be like watching that and be like, I'm gonna use.
James is there for you.
No, nah. I just don't have the patience.
Yeah.
I do make some reels and stuff, and it takes me like sometimes 3 days to make one reel, and still it's like
Plus running the business.
you're just like
Yeah,
doing it
yeah.
because fine, you want to show people that you're doing it good, but yeah, I still have a lot of footage of other things that they're just lying there.
Yeah.
In general, I think it's good to document. It's good to think, but not to a point where it's just
Yeah.
just
Obsessed with
yeah.
making videos and getting likes and reels, right?
Yeah.
But I do agree one thing what he said is that I think there's more to life than just like because now I think what you're saying that you go on these trips and suddenly they say like, oh, you have YouTube channel, like kind of thing, So based on your trips, is it like necessary to have a YouTube channel, or like do you feel that when you go on these trips and you see different perspective, do you feel that YouTube doesn't capture everything, right? I don't think so, right?
I mean, I think there's like personally, I'm a photographer, so I document my trip through photography,
Yeah.
and more than video. But I mean, I think that, like there is an element where film can capture your emotion.
Mhm,
Absolutely. I mean, people who are going to maybe run their camera 24/7 and
Yeah.
then like really capture those raw moments.
Yeah.
And they're really not many times often interested in the cinematic shot, but they're more interested in the emotion of the moment, right? And so I think there's some really beautiful raw kind of. But for me personally, I mean, I tried filming a little bit here and there and all that, but it took away from my own experience.
exactly.
Mm.
You
What
know,
is your own
and I
experience?
didn't
That's
want-
it.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to kind of put
Yeah.
effort there.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
miss out the moment
Yeah.
to
Yeah, that's
trying to exactly, and I think unless it's I think I would do it if in a way it's sort of I don't know, sort of purposeful, be it in an educational sense or awareness sense, but not to a point where I'm pressured to be. I think if you do have a channel, you're getting paid, you're pressured to have a video every day or every week. I don't know how it works, but you're pressured to sort of release a video after.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that point, but it's just like, you do it when you have the time to, and when you think it's nice, or if it's educational, or if it's purposeful for someone, or if it helps someone in some way, and it's there. It's helped a lot. Social media and YouTube has helped a lot to fix my bike, fix my motorbike. There are people who make how-tos, things like that.
Yeah.
But I think to be running a channel and sort of like trying to keep up with that pace gets tiring. That's the point.
It does. And
Especially if you're not driven by that.
Yeah.
I think for your
Exactly. So
podcast
true.
as well, like if you reach to that point, I think it does get exhausting. for
It
you to
does.
be
It
like,
does. Yeah.
I have to do an episode by next month. Every month I have to do 5, and then it gets to like 5
Exactly.
episodes a month. I
Yeah.
think that's a little too much, and then
True.
you're like
True.
exhausted. And then I think the quality side of things and you just doing it for the sake of becomes evident when
Very, very true.
when you do that.
As I always tell James, because at the end of the day, we have our own families, we have
Yeah.
girlfriends, and we have work in general. It's like that's what I like about me and him is that when we feel that we cannot give our best. We just be like, nah, I don't want to do this. Like we will do it next time. Let's take a hiatus for a while just to get our bearings right and stuff. Like even for this episode as well, we discussed that earlier. But that took me a bit of time because obviously with family matters and personal stuff happening on. So I was like, nah, James, I gotta like take a bit of a break and so I can get back my mindset. So I just don't want to put in a show and just have this face on. And I don't want you guys as well to, if you want to start a YouTube channel, I think it's essential that you don't just do there just for the sake of money or endorsements.
Since we're talking about James, take a picture of him. I'll post it so you guys can see it. This is James. Wait,
Everybody doesn't know James. Okay?
Follow
What's
James. What's your
James? Born. But the man behind the plan.
Followers following.
Yes.
Yeah.
But man. James is the mastermind behind everything, okay? Just for information. I'm just the guy who looks pretty, okay? So that's the only thing. But anyway. But that is so true because I feel that social media has gained such an extent where I think it's necessary now, more or less. If you become this and that, it'd be like, oh, you don't have YouTube channels. Like, I think it's not necessary to just document everything.
I find it uncomfortable at times.
Becomes personal as well, But coming back to cycling, right? I think you have traveled to a lot of places as well as Jan, right? Can you explain a bit about the culture that you experience in different parts? Because at the end of the day, India is so diverse, right? So can you explain a bit about the places that you've gone to and the culture and the weird mannerisms of this etiquettes that you have seen that'll be like
surprising.
They'll be like, oh, I've never seen this before. I've never eaten this before. People have never eaten trumbai and they say that, oh, it's things like hell when they eat. It's like, oh, I like this, right? So can you explain a bit about that? I think you must have a lot of experiences relating to culture and various others, right?
Or you eat at McDonald's when you go to a restaurant.
I've been there. Going to McDonald's.
That's too expensive. McDonald's.
You suddenly see him like in the shorts eating.
No, I mean like apart from the cost of traveling, right? Like the place where I will spend my money is food.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather I love food. I grew up.
Any bad food poisoning experiences that you've had?
No, I haven't.
Really? Wow. That's
in these cycling trips, yes. No, I haven't had a bad food poisoning. I don't know. They say the Indian stomach or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, food is good. I mean, I remember one of the interesting people and the food that I ate. I love mangoes. And I was completely unaware because when I was riding back from Kanyakumari before getting to Mumbai, that whole area between Goa and Mumbai is
mango.
This is where you grow Alfonsos.
Ooh, damn! The smell must have been amazing.
This is a very hilly place. It's it's right on the coast, but it's super hilly. It's lots of ups and downs. And I was so surprised. I'll meet people when I stop for a break, right? And there was this little shed, and there was this boy sitting there. I just go and I sit and I drink some water, and it turns out he's a Nepalese kid, right? And Nepalese migrant workers come from Nepal every mango season to pick Alfonsos.
Do they carry it back or
no? They work on the farm to pack and to pick and pack and sell for the farm, and then they go back to Nepal. And I had never known that, and that was a really surprising thing to kind of meet people that I didn't expect to be there.
Did you have any of the mangoes?
And then I had some, and then I met another guy who owns farms, who invited me to stay at his house, and then
mango party.
Alfonso.
It's time to go cycling, man. I gotta eat those mangoes. Seriously, bro.
Yeah, it's these experiences are. When you do come back from a trip, I think very rarely would you remember the bad experiences because these things sort of just overshadow a lot of small gestures.
Food poisoning, about that, Don't you think?
I've had bad diarrhea at 16,000 feet in Arunachal, and just constantly and then going to one of the villages, do we have a toilet? And they were like, हम लोग तो यहाँ जंगल में करता है. So it's like all over the place, you know, like. But again, when I look back at it, it wasn't bad. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you unique. It makes you unique.
Unique experience that, yeah, I had diarrhea at. I shat at like places that.
With great views.
Yeah, with great views and
Mhm.
and yeah. No, let's not get into that.
But yeah, speaking about views though, like they say that this is a quote or it's just me, but they say that there's a certain point in time where you feel like you either see God or either you meet something that is profound in your life, right? Have you been in any of these places that even as well as Jan, have you ever been in certain places where you'd be like, man, there's like a divine intervention that you see that maybe a very spectacular view, you know, that you know, oh, God is actually real, and you know, all that philosophy stuff I'm trying to say is that at least like, you know, there's a point in time where you know that divine intervention will be like totally at awe about what you see right in front of you and never expected that could ever happen in your life. Can you experience, like, have you ever experienced, I've seen a certain thing or a view, or what do you say, like, have you ever had, Jan?
I mean, I've seen so many views that totally.
One of the best, like your all-time top two.
That's so hard, man.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I mean, like, I've seen so many views that are just like, I don't remember the view as much. I can remember the feeling of seeing that view more.
Yeah.
But you know, you make these images in your mind, photographs, and like gets distorted with time and emotion, right? And but like the one thing even though I love cycling, what I love mountains more. Right? And for me, like being in the mountains, especially on a cycle in the mountains, and just being humbled by the power, the size, the sheer size of the mountains, you know, and it's just something that teaches you respect for nature, teaches you respect for the power of the mountain. Like, I mean, I've cycled, run, trekked, climbed so much in mountains. Sometimes I feel comfortable, right? But it is in those moments that you are then reminded that, you know, one mistake can be.
Have you been humbled like that? No.
This was a really weird experience. I was rock climbing with a friend a couple years ago, and this is not cycling, and we're doing this trad route, which is basically where we're carrying all our gear and it was like 120 meter rock face, and we had climbed up, and then we got up there and we sat up on the top of it. Was sunset, and we had sat on this little ledge that was this wide, and we had our tea and snacks and just sat there that whole evening. And we climbed. It was really, really cool. Came back down. A couple of days passed. My friend goes back to that same route with another friend, and this huge slab from that rock face had broken.
Holy cow.
A couple of days later. Like a slab that was as wide as this wall.
Holy cow, man.
Had broken off that fall.
Yeah.
And we were climbing on that slab. And like,
Not even a ledge, okay.
yeah, man. Exactly.
you know, like, I remember my friend telling me, he's like, look at the picture, like, look at what happened.
Yeah. Thank God ledge. Oh, that's El Cap, I think. Have you read of the Thank God ledge?
No, I haven't read.
In El Cap, in Yosemite.
Yeah.
There's actually it's not that big, obviously. It's about, I think, just about your shoe size.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what route this is, but yeah, there is something called a Thank God ledge on
On El Cap.
El Cap. If you're into climbing.
Yeah.
Read about that. So that for you was like an after Thank God ledge.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
What about you, Jan? Have you ever
Humbled? Yes.
been humbled by the
Badly.
nature?
Yeah. This is one of those experiences. It's pretty bad.
I think in the first podcast you did say something about this same
No, this
thing.
was recent. This was
That's
last year.
recent? No, okay, got it.
I do quite a lot of back rafting with my friends. I'm not a good swimmer. I just learned swimming. So this was June last year. My friends, shout out to Zorba. He's the mentor. He's sort of the guy for rivers and whitewater rafting here. We had gone to Umtro village, and we had gone there the week before as well. And there was in whitewater rafting you have grades, sort of class 1, class 2, class 3. Class 1 is like beginner, class 2, class 3. So there's a section called the ski jump. I think that's a class 3 or class 4. I don't remember exactly. And I just remember going there and him guiding me like, do this, do that. You go there, take a sharp left, blah, 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 navigating through the rapid. It's like huge. Because that water it's like there's no water, and then suddenly it's only when they release the dam from upstream, and it's like huge water suddenly, and it's good time to paddle.
Yeah.
I nailed it first try. I was really happy, and then the next week we were so psyched, and to a point where I'm like, yeah, I think I need to get a raft. Next week we do it again, this time more proper, like all rigged up and all that, and we do the longer stretch, which is about, I don't remember exactly, it was about 8 kilometers of rafting. I think this included a lot of sections that were flat water and a lot of like class 4, class 3 rapids along the way. So we do the first stretch for warm up, and I'm nailing everything perfectly. I even start to like do these weird, like, because I do mountain bikes and I like to pop the front, like sort of hop, and I'm doing that on the boat as well. I'm like, hey, and then Zorba's like, hey, you're picking up pretty good, and like, yeah, I started getting cocky, and then first rapid, all good. Second rapid, I took a swim. No, I fell. It was a silly mistake. I fell. I was so there's a throwback where you get rescued, pulled out of the water. I was wearing Crocs that day. I lost one of the Crocs. So I was paddling barefoot, and then there was this section which was not paddleable, and we had to hike through the forest, thorns and everything, and I was barefoot on that. And out of the water, your feet is really soft and that fine. And still went through. Then there's really technical tongue rapid that they call it. Nailed that as well somehow. Got more cocky, and then towards the end was a rapid, and I remember the rest of the guys going off land to sort of check it out. And I'm just cocky, like, that doesn't look bad. I'm just hanging on a branch and on my boat. And then they come back and they said, yeah, just keep right. I said, cool. And first guy goes, second guy goes, nailed it. And I'm like, yeah, coming. Cocky, Suddenly, as soon as I enter the rapid, I see a tree, which nobody told me about. Like there was a tree fallen on the water.
Oh, damn.
And I had to take a hard left, and I hit the tree, and I couldn't take the hard left, and I go into the tree. My boat capsizes like that, and while it's capsized, it's a rapid, and I hit my chin on a rock while going upside down.
Damn.
And I was wearing a helmet, but it hit right somewhere here, I think. And you have a life jacket.
Yeah.
So, but what you
still,
don't know is, even when you're in a running rapid, even if you have a life jacket, the rapid's fast and the water is just over your face the whole time, right? And I'm like woozy. I'm trying to look up and in my mind I'm like quite aware. It's like, don't panic. But I try to take a deep breath, and it's just water, like. So that's the first gulp that I take. Big gulps. Second gulp, I'm like coughing bad, and that's when panic strikes in, right? And I'm like panicking, and then these guys are trying to rescue me, and one of them trying to give me a paddle, lost. Couldn't get it. And there was another rapid right below. And shout out to Banshan Kharkongor, good paddler, rescued me from there. Somehow he's like, I just heard his way, like, hey, keep calm, you're okay. And I just grab onto his boat, and I was right on his side, right? So he couldn't paddle, but we were going into the next rapid actually. And he just somehow we got out.
Yeah. That smack to the rock was like, it made you kind of woozy, right? Obviously, it's like kind of.
Yeah, it was like, and you're like,
damn.
I could see the trees above, but I could see them very near to me. And I'm trying to hold onto the branches as well. When I look at it, like they're like tall trees and you can't really reach them. So bad experience, really bad. Maybe to those guys who saw it, like maybe it wasn't that bad. I don't know. But for me, it was a bad experience because firstly, didn't know how to swim properly.
Yeah.
But main thing, I got cocky.
Yeah.
Right? That's when nature humbles you. even if you have a life jacket, you have all the equipment with you, no? And it got so bad where the water in my, like I would take a shower the next day, and to that same day also, when the water hits my head and it sort of creeps into my ears, I sort of get this like like a
trauma
panic.
is there.
Yeah, like
a bit of a trauma.
Like, took me a while to get back. I'm back,
Yeah.
but took me a while. And then I made a point like, I need to learn swim. And most importantly is like, hey, don't get cocky. Anywhere. It can be cycling, it can be anything. You can't. I mean, I was very much aware of not being overconfident in a lot of things. But there's just some days where you're like,
you can't be cocky, man. Like
I think one thing that I really learned in terms of like working with nature is I'm a good swimmer. I've swam all my life and all of that. But I have not really swam in the ocean. I swam in pools. And this one time I was staying with this person I met while I was backpacking. And I ended up like staying at his house, and he was a surfer, and I stayed there for 5 days, and he would go every morning. He would
where exactly? Like
this was in California.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I had never been surfing, so he was like, "Come, I'll show you how to do it," and all that. And so what surfers generally do is they go behind the surf, and then they wait for a wave to come, and then they ride the surf.
Okay.
Right? So getting behind the surf is your biggest obstacle, because the power of water will just like push you back. And I remember I had the first day I was trying to fight the water to kind of get back there, and then after that he taught me the technique on how to move underneath the wave to kind of come out and emerge on the back. And after that, it's been so easy. But what that taught me was you can never win against nature. You can never win against it. You have to like move with its flow. Whether you're on rock or you're in water or a trail, like you have to be so aware of the conditions. And be respectful of it.
I think that's a takeaway from this whole podcast as well. Respect nature and see, if you're mostly outdoors a lot of the time, you go to places and then you see how small you are and how what's the term, how help me with this one.
Small.
That could be irrelevant in a way you are.
We're just variables that
sheer size.
I have one. Now I remember one.
He's like, finally I got one. Small.
Because I was going through a very bad emotional time of my life at that time, and I wanted to kind of escape into the mountains. And so I had, I decided to climb a lot of peaks.
All 14?
Huh?
All 14?
Quite a few, yeah. And so there was this 2 peaks that I was climbing that day. I got to the top. They're like 14,000 feet peaks, right? And so I get to the top of one, and I come back down the saddle and try to get back on this one. And the weather is rolling in. So, in the mountains, usually the morning is when the weather is clear. Usually by noon, clouds, rain, all that kind of comes in usually in the second half of the day, the general pattern of mountain weather. And I saw that there was some rain clouds coming in, and I was like, but this is not that far. I can get to the top, and so I'm moving really fast. I'm near the top, and I can just, I felt like I got slapped in my face.
The wind.
It started to snow. And the wind was blowing so hard that it felt like somebody was throwing sand on my face.
Holy cow.
Right? And I nearly felt I was going to get pushed off the side of the mountain. So I laid down for a moment. I was like, I can still do this. I just
crawled.
No, and I got up and I kept moving. I kept moving. And then all of a sudden, all the hairs in my hands stood.
Holy cow, man.
There was lightning about to strike.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh,
that's really bad.
Lightning was about to strike, and then I hear lightning. I hear the strike, and then I'm just like, so there's a technique on how you can count, like when you see this light and you hear the sound, and you can count the amount of seconds, and you know how far it is from you. And I'm just like, damn, turn around right at the moment when I hear
yeah.
it, when all my hair is stand,
That's,
and I'm just like running as fast as I can down this mountain. And every time you hear another lightning or the electrical kind of energy in the air is like very
Very
static.
strong, yeah.
So, you know, there's a position that you can try to
Just
get
sit
into
and,
to kind of
minimize
risk. So I'm
Didn't
getting
know
to this,
that, man.
get into this position and then wait for that thing to go again. Oh man, that was
yeah. So the static sort of it's like a static
Yeah.
electricity thing.
static.
So just-
Because there, if the lightning is near, it still will give you. I mean, you'll probably die because
Yeah.
it's not that if the lightning hits you directly,
Yeah,
it can
yeah,
be
yeah.
nearby, and that current can just pass through these
Yeah.
particles, the
Mm.
moisture on the air. So that's a warning for all of you watching. Like if you have experienced that, if you're on a mountain and your hair stand and you're like, it's not the hair stand chill sort of thing. It's very,
Yeah, it's different.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, when you take a sheet and then you put it over your hair like this, and then there's like electrical energy that kind
Static electricity.
and then you
Something
flick
like
that, and
Yeah.
that's static.
Oh,
So the technique again this is again for viewers as well. It's called a flashbang,
Mhm.
where when you see a lightning,
Mm.
you sort of count in slow seconds. How much time does it take from the lightning and then the sound
Mhm.
come through you, right? So that you have a fair idea of how far
The lightning.
distance wise and all that.
You count the number of seconds, and then you divide it by 2, and usually that's how the
So
distance
you know how safe you are.
you are.
So the longer the time that you're safer, because the closer the flashbang, that means the lightning's pretty near.
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
And if you're near, then you just sit in you basically sit in sort of
Fetal position.
just sit down and minimize your size in every way possible.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like cover you.
Oh, scary, man. I feel this came from a cycling to a man versus wild podcast.
That was
Yeah.
that was
There's
years
Bear
ago.
Grylls.
But,
Yeah.
that was
Go
on
into
my
the wilderness.
scary.
Yeah, you need to know a
Survive.
lot of these things.
Yeah. But have you? I think you guys are. I mean, when I was young, I remember still watching Bear Grylls. Have Bear Grylls helped you in any way? Like, is it practical the way you see things? Because you guys have gone to the wilderness anyway.
I don't remember. I actually
Yeah.
never.
Oh,
You know,
I've watched a few things.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
For me, I've been intrigued by what he eats and be like, maybe if I go next time, I'll try that. but I've never really tried that. But
This is one of those things.
nah.
Just curious. Just
it's
curious.
also a lot of setup. You know?
Yeah.
Like there was an episode that I saw where he had Alex Honnold,
Yeah.
who's
Mm.
one of the a rock climber,
I've seen
really
that,
well-known
yeah,
rock
yeah.
climber, right?
Seen that.
And
The
and-
rope that he had was just meters.
and then the ropes, and then people caught on and like saw the ropes that
Just
that
doubled
were
in
set up
size.
were actually not the way actually it's set up.
And
there was
also
a
he
lot
had like just a few loops of rope
Yeah.
in him, and then suddenly they're just descending from this hanging bridge, and
Yeah.
it's like a longer rope, double the size or triple the size. So like, hey,
So it's
how
all
did that
rigged.
happen? Yeah.
It's all rigged,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Entertainment
I mean, to
purposes.
be fair,
yeah.
it was very entertaining and educational in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's certain things that
I don't think Bear Grylls will make a series where he really would
Go there.
not like
Interesting.
that. I don't think there would be a show that the risk is so high.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
It's controlled.
He is the star of the show anyway, and yeah.
because that might influence people in the wrong way as well.
Yeah. True.
There's another guy, Hazel something, Primal Survivor. Have you seen him?
Primal Survival. Yeah. I've
Like
seen
he's pretty raw that way. He walks barefoot
that.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. He's good. I mean,
Yeah.
I like watching his videos more.
No, but like I think one thing, if people are interested in the wilderness and want to kind of think more about it, right? Kind of philosophically think about it, kind of have a sense of self-awareness on how they fit into the idea of exploration and adventure. I mean, I think Into the Wild is a great story
Into the Wild. Yeah.
to read.
Yeah.
John Krakauer's Into the Wild. That book is
My brother, I think he read that one, Into the Wild.
Then there's
So, yeah.
there's this guy, the Outdoor Boys. He stopped his channel recently.
Oh,
right?
that
'Cause
was so
he
sad, man. That was
Yeah,
sad.
you've heard about him?
Ah,
pretty popular, like survival guy. Like,
Wear specs.
Yeah, wear specs. I think you've seen him. And just recently he said that
That's
I'm
sad.
apparently like he was getting too popular and he didn't like the attention
Yeah.
that he was getting from people, so he stopped it.
I like the way he has that stove and he makes like curry and so
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
tasty, man.
Pretty
Seriously.
nice. Pretty nice.
He offs all the comments, so it's quite cool. Like, it's very, very primal in some way, huh?
Yeah, good,
Somewhere.
good, and education.
Yeah, educational,
in a lot
yeah.
of ways. Something that we go for.
Very
Anyways, yeah, I think we spoke about the takeaway from the podcast was again nature and how to be
Yeah.
how to learn to respect it and
Yeah.
all that. Anything you'd like to add in general from this whole thing in general, a life lesson sort of.
Well, I mean, this is about cycling, and one thing I'd say, if you want to cycle from across the country or all of that, the biggest thing is time. The amount of time. It took me about 2 months, right? But it's not physically impossible. Like don't feel like I can't do that,
because
like I don't have the physical capability to do that. Like that should never be something that will say like, I can't do that.
that would be something like, oh, I can't, like me, I can't deadlift to 200 kgs.
Yeah,
right? That's
I don't deadlift too because my spine is back. Right? I squat a bench, but yeah.
but cycling,
yeah,
I think it's very doable.
Yeah,
Very
it is
doable.
true.
We just need to have just a go for it mentality.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, whatever happens, we'll see.
Mhm.
Again, calculated, but not. I think the first step, like they always say, is always.
Yeah.
But once you're out.
It's just your instinct starts. You know what to do.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
You can adapt.
What about you? What could you learn from today's?
What I learned is that Jan is a very good podcaster, I would say, right? If you think about it, that's one thing I would say. So it's not that I was like, well, okay. I was like, okay, Jan is not bad, bro. Seriously, you can think about it. But yeah, I mean, what I've learned is that I think I should go out more, man. Seriously. I seriously, like, maybe one day I could just go out with you guys, like, just experience something,
Yeah.
That could be one thing.
Me and him will go motorbiking to somewhere about 40-50 kilometers, go to a river and make coffee and just drink coffee and come back.
That's very nice. I could do that, man.
Yeah.
I could do that.
I mean, that's pretty chill.
Yeah, that's very chill, yeah.
But it's a really nice experience.
Yeah. But you are a good podcaster. Seriously, bro. Think about it.
Ah,
Think about it. This could
James,
be
I might
sort of-
hire you for. If
Hey, bro, what about me, man? What about me? But seriously, it's like you really, really have the gift, though. This is really, really awesome. So please comment down below if Jan has the gift for podcasting.
What should his podcast be called?
Yeah. Jan's World. Ian's World. Ian's Pod? No, that's also
Like, I'm more comfortable in this environment. I think it's just because it's where I work.
Yeah.
But maybe in a different setting, I wouldn't be so comfortable.
Yeah,
And also the people you talk to, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That all adds to it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you can perform the same way with every. Yeah, but thanks, Jones.
Yeah,
for this.
seriously.
Yeah, thank you.
There'll be more episodes between collaboration with ProCycling and us. So stay tuned to that. There'll be more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to ask one more very, very fun question I want to ask you guys. I think, have you ever experienced any like paranormal activities in your going out and I don't know if you have. Probably you did. If you didn't, I don't know.
Paranormal.
Like maybe you saw ghosts and suddenly like she asked you for a ride, but apparently she wasn't there. Like I died 3 years ago, that kind of thing. Still typical kind of thing.
Yeah, I've had an unexplainable experience in the sense. I remember going to one of the places and with a local who was a fisherman. And I was helping him put the nets onto the river he was telling me how to do it. So this river was there were two, it's like a confluence, and there was a bit of rocks in between and a huge ficus rubber tree, very veiny, and it just looked nice. So the whole time I was just looking at it and sort of helping him and tying those rocks to the net, and then just and suddenly there's a rock like the size of like this big that just flew from the tree, like very far from us, but just flew and just like it wasn't aimed at us, but it just flew past us like that way, right? And it's just rumbling, and me and him just stop and look at it. And I said I went back there to just check the size because it's unrealistic for a person to pick up a rock that size and to be throwing it. Also, there weren't rocks. This side was like jungle with not so many rocks. The rocks were on the bed, the river bed. But where was it coming from what I could feel was higher than the rubber tree, which was pretty big. And it just flew above it, right? And I go back to check this rock. And it was big. No, I couldn't explain. Like, did it roll from the mountain? I don't think so. So yeah, unexplainable. But this guy said, "Uksuat, nite melong samit," and I insisted him, "Let's stay, man. It's okay." We stayed the night. It was fine. We didn't have a tent. It's like a small cave-like thing, and we slept there. Had some really nice fish. Burnt it, put some lemon and salt, and just had it for the night. That was good, but he was pretty scared because I was also scared, but
It was tense.
more I was like trying. For me, it was
Rationalizing.
how did that happen? Like how the whole I couldn't comprehend like someone throwing it, rolling in from a mountain. You would have heard it like and just flying off. Yeah. Stuff just happens.
Stuff just happens, but that's kind of scary to me. If that were to happen, like, I'll be like, tends to be like, something might happen,
Why did you ask that question?
It's just that, I've heard a lot of stories, about, because I don't know, there's one of my cousins a friend of mine whose uncle was a truck driver, and he would say, I don't know if it's like he's bluffing or anything of that sort, but he would go on these trips and suddenly like you'd see a girl and she would
Okay.
all these things. I mean, it gotta be true sometimes. I don't think he's bluffing to that extent. This one time we went through that highway and I met this girl. Apparently, she died 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, stuff like that.
Stuff like that. I mean,
Paranormal activities. Comment below if you have any.
you ever had?
No, I haven't.
Never had?
No. I mean, I've slept in tents so many times in my life. I've heard rumblings and rustlings and all of that. But like,
you
I don't know. It might just be the wind blowing.
exactly.
Like there's
coincidence.
Yeah.
I think that is very. I've slept in caves and have someone sniffing at me, but it could have been an animal. So and wake up and
What?
yeah, like I mean.
the animals like, what are you doing? sleeping in my cave?
Yeah. And it's just me because my friend was sleeping right there and we both wake up. It's like, what was that? It's like, what was that? Like somebody just sniffed on me. Like, and we just on a sleeping bag, right? My face is exposed and like, and it's like, and it's like, oh, what was that? Like, things like that.
That's interesting. It's so skinwalker kind of thing, Anyway. But yeah, before we end this podcast, it was a very in-depth and not just in-depth, very fun as well, understanding the point of view, especially for shit. But can you just, people will be out there watching this podcast, and why don't you say something from your side? Why cycling is a great thing, and maybe give them some inspiration, whatever is in your mind, give shout out to anyone out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, for both of you, I guess, since we've been here.
I think what I would say is, I invite you to have a posture of curiosity. Curiosity about other people, about nature, about experiencing that. We live in a world that is so often set up as black and white. That it robs us of the opportunity to kind of really embrace what life is offering us. And so that would be just my invitation to people is like, challenge your worldview, challenge your perspective by doing something new. Maybe it could be cycling, maybe going for a walk in the Malki forest, or maybe having a conversation with somebody that you never would have had a conversation with. And I
stereotypes wrong, especially. Yeah.
I think having that posture allows us to live a better life and also experience our world in a way that's much more enriching.
Yeah. Cycle, man. Just cycle, because because you won't want to waste your money on medical bills when you sort of get old. You get a cycle now and start cycling. Be consistent with it. Take care of your health. If not cycling, hit the gym, go for a run, whatever you do. Just do something where you're moving and you're not stagnant. Move around, go out for walks, hikes, appreciate nature, and don't get caught up in the rat race sort of like work and deadlines and work and forgetting yourself to take care of yourself in that sense. Because when where did I see this? It said when you are physically fit and fine, you may have 5,000 problems, be it financial, be it anything, right? But when something is wrong in your body, when you're not well, then you just have that one problem, right? I saw it somewhere, but yeah, I can't remember who quoted it and stuff, but it's a really good. No. It's a good one. You need to take care of yourself, and that's about it, man.
One thing that I want to add is let's make Shillong more friendly for cyclists and for people who walk.
Yeah, exactly. Traffic.
The other day I went on a run and a car hit me.
Yeah,
right?
Was it serious?
No, it wasn't serious, but their mirror kind of slammed into me, right? And then they just drove away. And it was because he was trying to overtake where there was no room, things like that. And so my invitation is that let's make Shillong a city that is more friendly for people who walk, more friendly for people who cycle. I invite motorcyclists, scooter riders, car drivers to all do that, just to be more conscious.
More conscious. We're not asking for space.
Yeah.
Give us this, but it's not that. A lot of people are like, yeah, we need cycling lanes. That's not possible because you need to be
share
able
the
to
road.
share everything, things within yourself, and just have a good understanding between how you're using it, and just learn to take care of each other.
Yeah. Just slow down a little bit and give a little space.
Yeah,
it
doesn't take that much.
That's
Yeah,
I agree. Just slow down.
Yeah, because you're not gonna get. There's so much traffic either ways because you can't be rushing. I don't know how much time you would be saving by just slowing down a little bit, but yeah,
You can get fast. Man.
Yeah.
But
I think that's about it. Yeah. What about you,
please
James?
go ProCycling. Come here, bicycling, or else.
What about you? What's your takeaway
From this, the whole takeaway is that I think get yourself out of the comfort zone, man. Seriously, it's something that I think most people do. Like you said, gymming can be one of the things.
Yeah. Anything.
And anything that could get you out of things, it's very, very important. And I believe that, like what you said, curiosity is one of the things that really brings us to what we really want in life. And not just that, also to find the truth about, because truth is very subjective. So I feel that curiosity is one of the solutions that maybe will be able for you to find out who you really are, and what you're really made of, and not just that, seeing life in a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
It.
Anyway, come to ProCycling. Get your cycle. Lofi 20% off.
You scored. Yeah.
You scored.
But yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks to you for having us.
No problem.
Thanks for this. Thanks to James and for being here
Alan.
for us.
Nikki.
Yes. Thank you for being here. I think we'll have more.
Yeah, we'll definitely have more. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks to Caldwell for sharing
Thank
his
you.
story.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We hope that we see you on more trips, and especially the one you were talking, the other. Is that what side is that you've not done?
East Coast.
Yeah, the East Coast.
So,
Yeah.
anyway. So where do I look, James? Here or here? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we have two cameras.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, ready, guys? We're gonna end here. So guys, thank you so much. If you have listened to the whole thing. I don't know how many minutes or an hour.
Yeah. How long was it?
Yeah. How long, man?
Almost 2 hours. Okay. Good
Have
conversation.
you ever noticed that when you, this is what I noticed, that conversations, it's like, man, it takes you like, just like this, you feel like it's just 15 minutes or something, right? Anyway, guys, do subscribe if you like this video, and thank you again for the 10K. I'll say thank you to Caldwell as well as Ian. And do come to ProCycling Shillong to get you a new cycle, or even supplements and various others gear for cycles as well. And they do repairs as well.
And we have started serving handmade coffee.
Very good coffee.
Yeah,
Where's the
good
coffee?
coffee.
Where's it? Oh,
Yeah, the barista is not here. That's why Helen's not here. The barista lady, she's not here, so we're missing out on the coffee. But yeah, but you should drop in. I don't think you've tried. He's tried it. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are coming in every day just for the coffee as well. So if you're not a cyclist, please feel free to just come for the coffee.
I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, and guys, do subscribe to like again. And until next time, do grab your shasao, or grab your coffee or chai, whatever it may be, and sit back, relax, have a conversation with someone. Until next time, see ya. That's it.